Hello there everyone, my name's Seb and today is the how to play Akashic video. This is a remake of the original one, and I have decided to make a small formula in the sense for a straight line explanation. So, every mech that I will ever make a tutorial for will be categorized in 3 types: attack type, defense type, and balance type. These are mostly on the Beyblade standards. If you've seen Beyblades, then you know, and I'm a big fan of Beyblade, so yeah. So, Akashic fits into all 3 of these, so I will sadly not go into detail on the explanation of why, but simply know that during this video there will also be the explanation on the following. There will be explained on a BR solos, squads, and also an explanation on TDM. Please also note that this is more of a tutorial for new players or people that are interested in Akashic. If things I am explaining have been already known, then understandable. And well, that's basically it for now. Enjoy the video. First we'll be talking about modules. These are the attack modules. Nail Onslaught. Increase primary damage fire rate by 5, 7, or 9%. Extend the capacitor. Increase the energy wave damage conversion by 8, 10, or 12% after the energy shield absorbs damage. Efficient motor. Increase the maximum duration of your shield by 10, 14, or 18%. Link shield. Increase your shield by 100, 150, or 200 when it is deployed. Fast cooldown device. Basically cool down your dash by 9, 12, or 15%. Energy prolong. Reduce the cooldown of your shield by 10, 15, or 20 after every successful hit with your dash. Charge bolt. Send a special projectile after consistent usage of your primary weapon. A total of 4 times will you be able to do it. High conversion shield. As your special shield is deployed, it will essentially gain more shield to your mech's shield. It is very useful. Your weapons are drill launcher. You gain a total of 4.8 shots per second, and the reload time is 2.0 seconds. Charge recoil shield. It has a cooldown of 10 seconds. It is your secondary that you will basically be using a lot as soon as you are dashing. And Alios drill, which will be your dash, that has a 9-second cooldown on it. When it comes to pilot skills, I only have a total of 3 recommendations. Combat control, which will make your dash cooldown faster, which is always a plus for Akashic, which is one of his most strongest features. Extreme firepower. Always good, because due to you having sometimes getting hit a lot, you will basically having low HP, which is pretty good on a mech that needs more damage. In my opinion, Akashic is a very good mech. Yes, his damage is pretty good, but it is more useful to have always more damage. We all know this. And strong interference, which would be Red's mech skill. It is not useful on many mechs, except for Akashic. It is very good for extra time for your opponent to be stunned. I would highly recommend these 3. Now I'm going to give my strategy opinions in a sense. Let's start off with solos. In solos, Akashic benefits from specifically the environment. High ground areas are perfect for Akashic, such as CBD, or even, well, mostly CBD, but I'll explain later. And even the little museum that's right next to Ayumi and the town hall. Those locations are perfect for Akashic and extreme sports ground. Solo players, I would recommend to, well, depending mostly where the zone brings you, but always go for high ground. With Akashic, it's very beneficial to look down and shoot, for that way you gain more chances for a headshot. My recommendation for cores when it comes to solos, it's actually core 1. More DPS, it's always the best. That's how I think, and that sometimes does not work, but that's fine. Now, mechs that you would struggle in solos, mostly tank mechs. You won't really struggle with a Firefox as long as you manage to actually hit. And by the way, if you miss your dash, hope that you didn't use your secondary as an opener, or they didn't see you and you had to open your secondary. Let's say someone sees you first, I would recommend using your secondary to block their attacks for a bit and try to run away with your dash to hide behind something till your dash comes back, or your secondary. For that way you can dash, then secondary, and as soon as they use their attacks on that, you hit them with your secondary and then you use your primary. The dash, if you have the proper build, you will basically have a 6-second or 5-second cooldown on it. Secondary builds are also pretty good, but I mostly recommend going for dash builds so you can be a constant stunning machine. Now, when it comes to squad wise, you are most definitely the controller zone. Your team will have you like if you are an Arthur. You are to stun the opponent, you are to be an annoyance for them to focus. You are perfect for sneaking up on mechs sometimes, even though your basic walking speed is not that good. It is still an amazing dash that give you a total of 100, it's like 90 meter dash, which is 10 more meters than Michael. You can also be very useful for, let's say your teammates trying to run and someone chasing. You can basically be a perfect distraction by stunning the enemy. And when it comes to TDM wise, you are a controller mech. You are to assist your team as much as possible. You can weaken them, you can then run away, you can go for low HP targets. You are perfect for killing pilots. Like, trust me when I say this, it is amazing when a pilot hides behind a corner inside a little room in TDM, and all you have to do is shoot the floor and it does so much damage. You kill the pilot so easily without even needing your secondary's AoE. I highly recommend Akashic, mostly as a controller mech, and Core 1 and Core 2 is more on the playstyle in TDM. Core 2 and Squat is also pretty good for you can last a bit longer, but Core 1 also benefits, but definitely in solos it is a Core 1 in my opinion, but I am a very aggressive person, so yeah. Quick explanation on what I said earlier in the video when it came to Beyblade. It's more in a sense because he is a aggressive, he is a balance, as in he can be non-aggressive and control the situation far away, and then there is the balance type, which can change the field, can change the situation. You can basically be the one that helps out your team in controlling, again, like the specific mech that is currently bothering, let's say, your sniper. You can be the one that stuns them, giving the sniper time to run away or time for your teammates to notice what's happening. He is a very good mech in teams, especially. Highly recommended. Complete and final thoughts on him? Well, if I was to put him from a scale of 1 to 10, I give him a solid 7. He is pretty good, but he doesn't always have the amount of damage, and he does rely a lot on depending on what level module do you have. It is also on the playstyle. If you're a non-aggressive player, then pixel peeking is definitely good for you for opening and then finishing your enemies. Something I didn't state also earlier is whenever you get a successful kill with your dash, you gain your dash again, which is very good for constant pushing. Especially in TDM, where one time I basically stunned I think it was a Firestar, and then I immediately stunned a Skyfall. It's very good. Highly recommend him for new beginners, especially if they're having trouble surviving for long periods of time. His shield's pretty good for that, and the amount of damage it can give back is pretty decent. Well, that's all. The rest of the footage will be seen was mostly just me in training ground going to funny areas. I'll be seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.